Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zack, and today I am driving a 1993 Mazda MX-6 LS. Up front is a 2.5 liter V6, and down below is a 4-speed automatic transmission. Now, I am super excited to be driving this MX-6 for two reasons. First of all, the MX-6 is pretty rare nowadays. This was sold throughout the 90s, and there was a previous generation that I have reviewed on the channel before. Actually, two of them. One of which being a turbo, which is this red one. But this generation was a little bit less loved. This also came out alongside like the MX-3 and other vehicles like that, so I'm excited to sink my teeth into this one today. The second reason I'm excited to review it is because this has 18,000 original miles. This puppy is barely broken in, although it is 32 years old. And so I'm excited to show you an incredibly clean, immaculate, best condition MX-6 that you'll probably ever see. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. But let's get back to that 2.5 liter V6 under the hood. Well, that is a relatively small displacement V6, although it wasn't the smallest that Mazda was making at the time. They still hold that crown of the 1.8 liter V6 that you could get in the MX-3. This was the bigger option. The LS was a pretty nice trim for the MX-6, and there was a smaller 4-cylinder option that you could have gotten, but this is the top dog. It makes good torque. It definitely has that 90s V6 feeling, of which it's maybe not a monster, but it's also not a slouch. It gets the job done. Like I said, paired to it is a 4-speed automatic transmission. Now, this was a $780 or something, I'll put it up on the screen, dollar option here for the MX-6, and you could find them in manual as well. Now, the transmissions tend to have some issues. This one's giving me a little bit of flack. It's, talking back to the teacher just a little bit here and there, but it's not the end of the world. This platform was also the Ford Probe of the era. Last but not least, the MX-6 is front-wheel drive. So how does it feel to drive the MX-6? Well, it's this really, really nice blend of luxury and sporty. Is this a fully luxury car? Would I put this on the list with Cadillac and Lincoln? No. Is this a fully sporty car? Also no, but it has a nice middle ground feeling. It doesn't leave you on an island of either option. So that was kind of the big benefit of the MX-6. It was this adult, respectable vehicle that you could have fun with, but you could also take out on date night. Now, that might not have helped sell the MX-6 because it wasn't the master of anything, but we'll get into that later. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 4 gauges. Off to the left is my tachometer, in the center is the speedometer, and off to the right is the coolant temperature and fuel. On the steering wheel, we have our horn buttons and cruise control, but that's it. Off to the left, we do have a climate control vent, gauge dimmer switch, fog light switch, and rear defrost, as well as our cup holder. So we'll do a big friggin' bottle test. It doesn't pass, but kind of an interesting spot to put it nevertheless. And moving down the door, we have our power mirrors, power windows, and our locks are on the door handles. This is a really 90s design where the instrument cluster kind of swoops into the door. Moving into the center, we do have 2 climate control vents and our climate controls themselves. Very simple, AC, where to set it up top, temperature down below, fan speed to the right. Then we have the Mazda radio. This is the factory original Mazda radio. I absolutely love this. The logic control. Not really sure what it means, but it sounds cool. And we do have bass and treble adjustments. Then we do have a cubby as well as a pop-out ashtray and cigarette lighter. And the shifter. Shifter is tall and proud. It's hooked to that 4-speed automatic, and that's pretty much it. In the center, we do have the handbrake and center console. A little bit of storage, but that's it. The seats are nice and comfortable. This being the LS, it did get the leather seat option, and as you can tell, they are incredibly well preserved. It looks like this came out of the factory last night. It's comfortable, and this is where luxury kind of takes over. It does have somewhat high bolsters, so that there's that sprinkle of sport in them, but they overall are a more luxurious luxurious seat. You kind of sink into them, it's relaxing, and it's comfortable for the drives. What's not going to be comfortable is the back seats, because the owners have told me that the front seats can kind of struggle with people over 6'3", 6'4", so the back seats can't be any better, so let's hop back there. There we go. So far, it's not very hard to get into. The seat belt is on a sort of curtain rod that allows it to go all the way back. I haven't really seen that in many modern cars, which would be a lot nicer. I don't fit back here at all. So the niceties stop once you try to get into the back. My head, if you could tell, is crushed against the ceiling, and I'm gonna have a crooked neck. If I go like this, it'd be great, but the first pothole will probably KO me, so that's less great. It's not a good back seat. I'm 5'11", not a small guy. No, this is no good. But it had back seats. You know, your niece is in town. You gotta take her, you know, out to the Lego store or whatever. You could do that. You could do that in this. If your buddy needs a ride home, you could do that. But if you have a family of 6, I would not recommend this vehicle as the family shuttle. Yeah, no good. Let's hop into the very back. We'll take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, as well as some very fun artifacts from the era that this car came out. Right around the back of the MX-6, little keyhole in here, and pop it up like this. Pretty adequate trunk space, really like to see that, but what the owners have left me is some really cool magazines. So I believe this is from, well, it's obviously from England. This is, I forget where this is from, but this is from another different country. Ooh, hello. And then this is the original window sticker. So this was purchased, as you saw, for $21,445. The leather package was $1,000. The transmission, the automatic, was $790. Power sunroof was $560. Air conditioning was $850. And the floor mats were $70. So very, very cool to see all of that. Some old artifacts from the era of the MX-6. Very, very cool, but there's the trunk space in case you were curious. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I love this color. This color is absolutely beautiful. I'll put the name up on the screen. It's escaping me right now, but I love it. I love this era of Mazda. They were doing some really interesting colors, more specifically with their greens and blues. We also saw Montego blue on the FD RX-7, which I think is a similarly beautiful color. This shares some traits with that, although they're not the same color. I don't mind the look of the MX-6. It's very 90s. Like, the headlights kind of look like an EG Honda Civic. The taillights kind of look like the Camry, kind of look like this, kind of look like that. I don't think it won many design awards in its time, but I think it's relatively handsome enough, and that's my 2 cents on that. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving this second generation MX-6? Something that has escaped me for many, many years, and I finally get to do it. Finally get to check this off my bucket list. Well, this car has been absolutely great. Like I said, it does have that mix of sportiness and luxury. At the time, they were also producing the 929, which was a full-blown luxury car. And overseas in Japan, Mazda was beefing up their Yunos brand, which was a dedicated luxury brand. We got the Yunos Cosmo out of that, a 3-rotor twin-turbo luxury coupe. So Mazda started to kind of go upscale, but it didn't seem to work. I think one of the biggest downsides of this car is the fact that it's not amazing in any regard. Maybe with the stick shift, it would be a lot sportier. This car is fun, it's quick enough for what it is, and it's not a disinteresting car. But because it doesn't master anything, I think that's where the issues start to arise. If I wanted a nice luxury car, I could buy the 929 from Mazda. If I wanted the dedicated sports car, I could go into the showroom and either buy the Mazda Miata or the FD RX-7. 2 of the best sports cars in the history of the world shared a showroom with this. And so I think Mazda just had really strong other offerings where the MX-6 kind of fell through the cracks. But that doesn't mean that this is a bad car. That doesn't mean that this should be overlooked. It shouldn't be. This should be held with praise because this car is great. It's so good and it's so telling of the era. 1 airbag. There is no passenger airbag, so you have this nice, smooth, swooping dashboard off to the right. It has a great color to it. It has the V6. It could be optioned with the manual. It's presentable. It's grown up, and that's what I like. But sometimes you gotta cause a big fuss. You gotta cause a big stir. You gotta go for brand brand and name recognition, and I just don't think the MX-6 really had that. So to no fault of its own, it didn't last super long, and I think that that is a wonderful, wonderful shame. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Renee and Trey for letting me borrow their Mazda MX-6 for today's video. They brought it down. They try to keep the miles off it, but they put a couple on for me today, and I really, really appreciate that. It really meant the world to me that they traveled this way for it. They've been absolutely awesome to work with, and I appreciate them very, very much. But I appreciate you guys watching the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.